Hello, language aficionados, and welcome to another energizing video of Idioms Insight. I'm your host, Jais, and I'm absolutely chuffed to bits to have you join me on this linguistic adventure. If you're itching to catapult your English fluency to new heights, you've just hit the jackpot. Today's episode tackles a common thorn in the side of English learners everywhere: how to stop translating in your head. This frustrating habit slows you down, makes conversations feel like you're wading through molasses, and leaves you grasping for words. But don't throw in the towel just yet. We're about to kick this habit to the curb, and I'll arm you with strategies to start thinking in English with ease and finesse. Plus, as always, we'll sprinkle in advanced vocabulary and idioms to spice things up. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's dive in head first. Why do we translate in our heads? Picture this. You're having a conversation with a native speaker. They ask you a question. Your brain quickly translates it into your native language, formulates a response, and then translates it back into English. By the time you're ready to reply, poof, the moment has passed. Sound familiar? Translating in your head is like running with a ball and chain, slow, exhausting, and frustrating. But here's the good news. You can break this cycle. Let's first understand why this happens. It's completely natural, especially for intermediate or advanced learners. Your brain clings to your native language like a lifeline, but every time you translate, you're adding an unnecessary step, making fluency as elusive as a needle in a haystack. The ultimate goal? To let words flow instinctively in English, like a well-oiled machine, not a clunky robot. Strategy 1. Get the hang of thinking in English. Let's start with our first idiom of the day: get the hang of something, meaning to learn a skill through practice. Breaking the translation habit is all about getting the hang of thinking directly in English. It won't be a walk in the park, but once it clicks, you're off to the races. Here's a personal story. When I was learning French, I constantly translated back and forth. It was like a mental tug of war. My tutor saw me struggling and said, "Yais, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Just dive in." She hit the nail on the head. I began practicing simple, everyday phrases. No translations. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm making tea. Soon I stopped translating altogether. Try this. Narrate your morning in English. I'm brewing coffee, tying my shoes, grabbing my bag. Use this idiom. I'm finally getting the hang of thinking in English. Strategy 2. Embrace immersion. Even if you're in over your head, our next power move is immersion, surrounding yourself with English so much that it becomes second nature. The idiom here? In over your head, meaning you're in a situation that's challenging or overwhelming. I spent a summer in a remote English-speaking village. No one spoke my native tongue. At first, I was translating every sentence in my head. It felt like being thrown into the deep end. But by week 3, something clicked. I stopped translating. Instead of thinking necessito pan, then that means bread, I thought directly in English. I need bread. Your turn. Watch an English movie without subtitles, or join an English-speaking community online. It might feel like you're in over your head at first, but that's where growth happens. Try this idiom. I was in over my head with English, but I'm swimming now. Strategy 3. Learn the ropes through chunking. Now let's talk about chunking. Learning phrases, not individual words. The idiom here is Learn the ropes. To master the basics of something. I once had a student named Priya. She'd try to translate every single word, which made idioms like "I'm over the moon" completely confusing. So I taught her to memorize full expressions. Over the moon, very happy. Piece of cake, very easy. Spill the beans, reveal a secret. Instead of decoding, she used them naturally. Challenge for this week: learn 5 new idiomatic expressions and use them in your own sentences. No translations. Say, "I'm learning the ropes with English idioms, and it's getting easier." Strategy 4. Bite the bullet. Speak without fear. Host, here comes the elephant in the room. Fear of making mistakes. That's why many of us translate. We think it makes us more accurate. But in reality, you're putting the cart before the horse, obsessing over perfection before building fluency. The idiom to remember is bite the bullet, to face something difficult with courage. I gave my first English speech at a conference and froze halfway through. My brain had been busy translating everything. I finally bit the bullet and spoke freely. Sure, I made mistakes, but people understood me. More importantly, I felt unshackled. Try this. Record a 1-minute voice memo where you describe your day without translating. Listen back. You'll be surprised at how much you can express. Say, "I was nervous, but I bit the bullet and spoke without translating." Strategy 5. Visualize, paint a picture in your mind. Host, let's talk visualization, a tool that's worth its weight in gold. The idiom here is paint a picture in your mind, to imagine something vividly. When you hear "it's raining cats and dogs," don't translate it literally. Picture a wild, torrential downpour. That's how your brain links meaning without the middleman of translation. When I learned the phrase "kick the bucket," I imagined a rusty bucket being tipped over, symbolizing the end. It stuck. Practice. Pick an idiom today and visualize it every time you hear or use it. Try saying, "I painted a picture in my mind, and now it makes perfect sense." Strategy 6. Talk the talk. Practice self-talk. Self-talk is one of the most underrated tools in language learning. The idiom is talk the talk, to speak confidently and fluently. When I moved abroad, I started narrating my life in English. "I'm slicing apples. Oops, I burnt the toast." These mini dialogues train my brain to think in English. Try this. For 10 minutes daily, describe your actions aloud in English. You'll train your brain to skip translation. Say, "I'm learning to talk the talk, and it's becoming second nature." Strategy 7. Soak it up like a sponge. Dive into real content. One more key: exposure. Consume authentic content, not textbooks, but shows, books, podcasts, memes, you name it. The idiom is soak it up like a sponge, to absorb information eagerly. I once binged an English sitcom without subtitles. At first I felt clueless, but I kept going. By episode 5, I was laughing at jokes and thinking in English slang. Start today. Watch, read, or listen to Real English Daily. Don't worry about every word. Let your brain soak it up like a sponge. Say, "I'm soaking up English like a sponge," and it's working. Final words. Time to turn over a new leaf. And now it's time to turn over a new leaf, to start fresh with a new mindset. Breaking the habit of translating in your head isn't easy, but with immersion, chunking, visualization, self-talk, and consistent exposure, it becomes second nature. My friend Sanjay used to translate everything. I shared these strategies with him. 6 months later, he was having natural conversations in English. No more crutches. Say this with me. I'm turning over a new leaf. I think in English now. Glossary of Advanced Vocabulary and Idioms, Advanced Vocabulary, aficionados, enthusiasts or passionate fans, chuffed to bits, extremely pleased, Achilles heel, a critical weakness, quagmire, a sticky or tricky situation, obstinate, stubborn or unwilling to change, elusive, hard to catch or achieve, daunting, intimidating or overwhelming, pizzazz, energetic flair, finesse, skill and polish in handling something, cumbersome, awkward or difficult to manage, unshackled, freed from restraints, gist, the main idea or essence. Idioms, get the hang of, to learn something through practice, in over your head, feeling overwhelmed, learn the ropes, understand the basics, kick the habit to the curb, forcefully eliminate a habit, put the cart before the horse, do things in the wrong order, bite the bullet, face something difficult bravely, paint a picture in your mind, visualize vividly, talk the talk, speak fluently and confidently, soak it up like a sponge, absorb eagerly, turn over a new leaf, start fresh or make a positive change. Off to the races, off to a great start. Make a mountain out of a molehill. Exaggerate a minor problem. Thrown in at the deep end. Start something difficult without preparation. That's all for today's Idioms Insight. If this episode struck a chord, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who's also on the path to fluency. Your challenge this week? Choose one strategy we discussed and give it a solid go. You might be surprised how quickly you start thinking in English. Until next time, keep your ears open, your mind curious, and let's keep the linguistic fire burning.